Hello, Brian. Nice to meet you in virtual space. This will be some video feedback for the wireframes, but also may add some feedback for 3.3 and 3.2. And I hope you don't mind sharing that with your fellow students, but it's very beneficial to everybody. Nice to meet you. Brian, these are nicely formatted, nicely done. And I think it's okay to have, specific assets like the logo on your wireframes because, that's a given. That's probably the only given. And you'll want that to appear as much as possible the same way, the logo from page to page, but also from platform to platform or even media to media, say digital to print. I like the way you divided things up. Now, putting some of the links down towards the bottom, it could work. Just know that on a horizontal screen, or perhaps even on just a small screen screens in general, you may lose some of that on the initial screen. Now, but you've got it up here too. It might be a little confusing to have unless you're having a one-page website, and these, by clicking on this, it jumps down here. And I've seen that successfully done too. So there's no requirement that your website has to be, say a fixed number of pages, like 5. I've seen successful scrolling, however, single page websites for this project. Well, anyway, one of the sort of other things I wanted to mention is, and I'm sure you're aware of it, is that it's probably better to keep the navigation up here towards the top. This corner, it appears pretty much the same way regardless of the device. And so that makes it a very valuable area. And I think, putting the logo there is perfectly appropriate. When the logo ranges like this horizontally, it saves more vertical space, and for other things. And so I think maybe this is a better arrangement, maybe with your links off to the right. I like the idea here that where you're bleeding images off left and right, that's a much cleaner presentation and easier to control and to make look good, I think. When you have these white lattice works in between images, they become awkward, especially if they're irregularly spaced. And I know this is just a sketch, but similar things can happen on the web, and they can look awkward. So avoid these white lattice works or borders if you can. And I would opt instead for bleeding your photographs left and right. Okay, Brian, I note here that you've got your domain name, and it is a .net. Interesting. And you got your SSL certificate. Okay, so you're going to be switching over your portfolio site. Have you built a portfolio site? Just curious. Well, I can see right off the bat that you have fit all the criteria of the rubric. It's just binary. There's just two categories. They are, have you added style? And I can see that you have. Also, you have successfully used Gaudi Old Style. Congratulations. So I look forward to seeing your code. You've used the corporate colors for the background as well as the type. And let's see. I'm looking at your source code. I see you have an embedded style sheet, so I'm probably looking at something from this week, week 4, right? Which is an embedded style sheet in the head. And next step, of course, as you probably know, is to extract that into a external style sheet. I see some great commenting here and real clean and simple. Also, too, I think for week 4, I would hope to see some a navigation system developing and additional assets, visual assets like photography, logo, etc. Brian, because you have successfully gotten the corporate typeface Gaudi Old Style to show or display, I wanted to enlarge this and maybe direct other people to this video to see how you can correctly format the typeface. Brian, here's what you have submitted. I'm going to zoom in, or try to just to get a better idea. Now, I was thinking more of a list of pages. I think when when the criteria on the rubric says something about, I believe, a coded sitemap, and I see that you've got your domain set up here. And why a .NET? I'm just curious what advantages to that there were. And I would expect, you know, this is an XML sitemap. I understand that. Why aren't there, you know, one of these entries for every page of your site? Just a question. And that's the kind of sitemap that will go in your footer eventually. Then I see, okay, so here's the contents of your server. I see that you have an images folder, a media folder, and then you have the index, which I imagine is the weekly assignment. Now, how are you going to avoid overwriting index.html every week? Think about ways of perhaps, unless... Oh, I see. No, you've got it in a public HTML file. Well, I don't know. You're managing your own server here. So it's difficult for me to make, you know, judgments. It looks like you've got a handle on it, though. And all right, so you have images and media folder. All right, so you're aware of the issue. Just it'd be nice to be able to archive previous weekly assignments. But good job, you've met the requirements of the rubric well.